Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Roll Credits. Today we'll be talking about the 10 most influential TV series that I've ever seen. So, the first series I'm going to mention is one that you should probably watch right after you finish watching this video. It's a Netflix original by the name of Archive 81.
Please find me. Please help.
Now, this one totally took me by surprise. It was one of those things where you're on Netflix and you're like, oh, I'm not sure what to watch. And then you see this series that came out, 6 months previously, didn't really have any marketing, wasn't even really pushed on Netflix. And it happens to be one of the most interesting mystery drama elements of horror series that you've ever seen. I was just utterly surprised by the originality of the story. The story was loosely adapted from a podcast that was essentially turned into this TV show using this fictional story. And it stars this young guy named Dan Turner who, as a hobby and partially as a job, restores old tapes, like cassette tapes, VHS tapes, and so forth. And he's approached by a very wealthy gentleman who owns a company, who essentially tells him, listen, I need you to come up to this place I have in the middle of nowhere, and I need you to be fully focused and restore these tapes that were originally recovered from the Visser apartments. The tapes themselves had been recovered from a fire where there were essentially no survivors. Now, he wanted to find out what caused the fire and what had exactly happened to all these people that died. So Dan is tasked with the responsibility of uncovering the mystery. Through that, he discovers the mystery of what happened to Melody Penrith, a tenant that was living at the Visser apartments. Now, she had originally come to actually locate her mom, who she hadn't seen, I think, since she was born or something of the sort. But she showed up there to try and locate where her mom was. And through that, she ends up using her personal video camera to tape some of her interactions while she was living in the Visser apartments. Now, the story is very compelling. It's very mysterious. And once you start to see the elements of what is really happening in that building and essentially how it had its ultimate demise, you'll be automatically hooked to see where the series goes. You can watch it right now. It's on Netflix. It's super, super, super good. So if you have the chance, go right now and watch Archive 81.
Hey. You came.
Okay, so for our next entry, this is one that probably most of you haven't heard of. And this is from 2005 to 2007 called Masters of Horror. This was a very unique series, and it was done in the anthology style, similar to that of Creepshow, where they had guest writers, guest directors, all with different stories, almost like short films, but I would consider them very long short films. One of which is the incredible Cigarette Burns by John Carpenter. Now, just to tell you about one of the stories in this series, standalone story, of course, is about a character played by Norman Reedus, who is a very rare film collector. Now, he's essentially a broker, so what happens is people hire him to track down some of the rarest films. He finds them, does all the footwork, and of course makes a profit from that. Now, he's hired by someone very, very wealthy to essentially find the rarest film of all time. And as he goes on this endeavor to essentially track down this film, he starts to discover more and more about it. And as he does, he starts to get these flashes of cigarette burns, the kind of rings that you would see on old films. Anyways, I don't want to give too much away on Cigarette Burns. It's an incredible story. It's got incredible acting. Norman Reedus, it was one of his earlier roles, and he did fantastic in that one. That to say, in any series like this, it's hit or miss, but I would say 90% of the episodes they ran through a couple of seasons were fantastic. They all deserve a watch. You have some amazing stories in this anthology series. You have the likes of so many different great directors and writers here. And it's a series that definitely requires the attention that it deserves. So I highly recommend you check it out as soon as you can. All right, guys, we need to talk about Severance. So Severance, I probably don't even have to say much. It might be one of the most incredible series ever made. It's on Apple TV. It's an Apple TV original. Ben Stiller at the helm doing some fantastic work. Star-studded cast.
Why did you do this?
And of course, some incredible, now world-renowned cinematography by the one and only Jessica Lee Gagne of Quebec City. Shout out to y'all. So this series as a whole is just fantastically written, fantastically shot. They rigged up so many interesting things for cinematography. They worked so very hard on script, kept everything a secret. And it's one of the few series that's out right now that's really well known, that isn't primarily based on an existing book or existing works. So it's totally original, which is fantastic for viewers because it means you can't go out and read a book or read a graphic novel to kind of spoil the story for yourself. I don't need to tell you, you really have to watch Severance. It's fantastic. It's so immersive. It just kind of pulls you in, and with all the mysteries, it really draws you in and just has you addicted to watching the show from start to finish. So if you get the chance, check out Severance right now.
Known as Severance.
Mike Flanagan did it again, this time with The Haunting of Hill House. This one really threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting something actually this good from Netflix. Nothing against Netflix, of course. It's just that they're not really well known for having such a refined horror, suspense, paranormal series that actually does this well. Now, what I really enjoy about Mike Flanagan's work in particular, especially when it comes to a series, is that they don't feel like series. They feel like a long film. It doesn't feel like you're chasing an underlying story the whole time, or maybe just like kind of searching for answers. As much as I do like that in a lot of shows, this one is a little more direct, even though there's a huge element of mystery in it. Meaning that if you were to kind of watch it from start to finish, which I've personally done, it really does feel like you're just watching one long film and uncovering everything as you go along. Meaning that it's very seamless, it's streamlined, and you're kind of biting your nails the whole time just based on the suspense and how the story kind of takes twists and turns before your eyes. I'm not only telling you this because it's Mike Flanagan. I got a huge amount of respect for him and a lot of the projects that he's done, but it's just so very good. And just in case he's watching this, he should know something. You really missed out on an opportunity to decide to go backwards in time with season 2. Now, I'm telling the fans this too because it's not spoiling anything, but if he happens to be watching, I think he should know that because it's super important. Anyways, the story is about a family that moves into a new home and things start to go very wrong right from the start. And you also kind of get this flashback and flash forward between this family being younger and as kids, and of course the parents, and then being older as well, trying to uncover what really happened back then. So it's got this great element, a little bit kind of like It, where you have the two parts of the generation, the past and the present, trying to uncover the mystery and see what it's really all about. So I highly recommend it. The quality is incredible. Of course, the sound, the music, the cinematography is just beautiful. And this one in particular, I think when it comes to color grading, really sets itself above the rest, using certain types of colors or shades or moods to really determine where we are in the story and how it shifts from left to right. So if you get a chance, The Haunting of Hill House is phenomenal. Go watch it right now. You won't regret it.
I'm trying to tell you.
I don't need to hear your excuses.
I'm not making excuses.
bullshit.
I saw.
All right, guys, I got to talk about one of my favorite shows of all time. This is one that I've been thoroughly enjoying since it came out. And every season, I'm like, oh my God, when is the next one coming? And that show is From. Now, even though with a strange name like that, I think they were maybe going for the same marketing as Lost did, having just this one word kind of mysterious title. But take it from me, it's just as mysterious as it sounds. The story is about a very small town of people, we'll say 35 or 40 people, in the middle of nowhere. And as you find out through one of the characters' eyes as they show up to this town, is that the way you find yourself in is very mysterious. And that essentially when you take the main road and go from one side of the town to the other, you always end up right back in the town. So the people that are here in this town have been there since they arrived, and none of them have succeeded in actually leaving this town. There's not much here. It's hard to grow food. It's a bunch of strangers that you have to now live with. And the whole show is kind of centered around this idea that all of these people are now stuck in this nowhere town. And of course, you have a lot of interesting elements about it, some sci-fi, some horror. And I'm telling you that, trying not to give too much away, but there's a ton of mysteries. And it really has you feeling like you want more every single episode. So they have 3 seasons out now. You can go out and watch them. We're all waiting for season 4. There's a good chance that we're going to review each episode from the new season. And that being said, I really hope you go out and give this show a chance, because if we're willing to review every episode, you would probably be willing to watch every episode. So when you're ready, give From a chance and let us know what you think about the show, because we love it.
I'm so lonely. Maybe I can come in.
Next, we got to talk about one of Apple's biggest shows besides Severance, is Silo. This is a really incredible show starring Rebecca Ferguson. It's based off of a series of books, and it's about a population of the human race somewhere in the future that are basically forced to live underground in this giant silo. They live as a society, they all come from different parts of the States, and at this point it's been several generations that they've been living down here. The whole thing's full of mystery, and we follow as the main character, played by Rebecca Ferguson, is kind of uncovering things one day at a time. A show rarely gets this kind of budget when it has such a unique and interesting story. You know, a lot of these streaming companies and investment companies, when it comes to films and series, they want to do it as low risk as possible. They want the most basic story, or they want comic book heroes, or whatever it is. But then when you have a story like Silo, it's that high risk thing that pays off, but they also received a huge amount of budget to do it. So set design is 10 on 10, cinematography is 10 on 10, sound is 10 on 10, acting is 10 on 10, writing is 10 on 10. The whole show is just amazing from top to bottom. In this TV show, you're going to find yourself asking a lot of questions and trying to figure things out. And I find that's the case often with mystery shows. What's nice about Silo in particular is that the way the story is paced out, you never feel like you're not getting enough answers. And a lot of people feel that with a lot of mystery shows nowadays. This show never lacks in that. You feel the mystery constantly. You're excited to find out about what's going to happen. There's always a sense of excitement and suspense, but without feeling like, oh, they did us dirty. They didn't give us enough answers. I have so many questions. So it kind of has this perfect pacing in the story to kind of keep you in it the whole time. You never feel like it's filler. You never feel like there's stuff that you don't need. Everything seems very essential to the story, but without feeling overimposed over the story. So if you love mystery, if you love sci-fi, if you love high quality production stuff that doesn't feel like it's forced, you're going to love Silo. You have plenty of episodes you can watch right now. We're all waiting for the next season. Take a seat, grab a blanket, watch it from start to finish. You won't be able to stop watching it until the end, and you're going to thank us for recommending this show. So give it a try as soon as you can.
But she died a hero to the silo.
I got to mention this one, a little bit out of left field, 11/22/63. This is a series that was based off of Stephen King's novella by the same name, which means it's very well written even before it was adapted to become a series.
Oh my God.
It's about a regular high school teacher named Jake who actually gets the chance to travel back in time and stop the assassination of JFK. It stars James Franco. He did an amazing job acting in this one. Cinematography is great. Budget is great. Another high quality production where they decided to take a chance on it, and basically no expense was spared.
It's the past. It's trying to stop us.
It's a period piece in the 60s. Everything is on point, from the cars to the style to the architecture. And as a viewer, you're really trying to figure out what's going on.
Hey, put that down. That's my... Hey, why don't you shut your fucking mouth? Excuse my language, Miss Mimi.
And it's just got such a mysterious, invigorating story. And that time travel aspect just makes it sci-fi enough to really pull you in and not make it feel like a basic story. So if you get the chance, we highly recommend you watch 11/22/63.
Tread lightly. The past, it never ends well.
As huge fans of science fiction and mystery, how could we not mention Fringe? It's like the staple household name of modern science fiction series. In the very same way that X-Files came out and did this thing where they had these long-running episodes with cool mystery, science fiction, and a lot of interesting standalone series, I believe that Fringe was really trying to recreate that magic, but from a different perspective. That being said, a lot of the elements are very similar, where you have kind of like your Scully and Mulder, these two kind of investigative people trying to figure things out. But it ran for quite a few seasons. It had a lot of mystery. It had underlying stories that were very interesting. And of course, had a huge budget all the way through. So you got grade A acting, you got fantastic special effects, very, very good writing, as well as many more aspects that made it interesting and exciting. Beyond that, when you look at the science fiction aspect, it appears as though there was a lot of real world science that was kind of applied to a lot of these situations. And because of that, I feel that the experience is a lot more immersive, it feels a lot more real, and it feels a lot more authentic from start to finish. That being said, definitely recommend Fringe. I'm pretty sure you've already seen it. Most people have. But if you haven't seen Fringe, I know it's going to take some time. Watch it from start to finish. And maybe at some point we can actually break down the series here on the channel. And if you want to hear that, please comment and we'll probably make it happen.
We will protect the future of mankind.
Without him, he is everything.
Okay, so we got to talk about a really great series here. And I don't want everyone to tell me that I should have chosen True Detective, because as incredible of a series that is, the real magic happens in the first season out of 4 seasons. So because of that, I couldn't choose it as kind of like the most influential overall show. I would have had to almost choose just kind of like one season of that show. So for that purpose, I'm actually choosing The Killing, which in many similarities, it's a cop drama, it's got very real world issues, it's got the real life gore that's in it as well, and it centers around 2 detectives that are very, very different, one being very by the book and the other one being kind of free and breaking the rules and doing all sorts of different things. I originally saw it on Netflix, which I fell in love with it. It was so good. The acting was fantastic, the story was exciting, and if you really like real-world cop dramas, this one is definitely going to take you by surprise.
A couple years ago, the hooker got her head almost cut off. Caught a body this morning.
If you're looking for a connection, there's none. We got the killer, put him away, end of story.
It had more than one season, and yet still felt like kind of one continuous long series, which I feel that a lot of multiple season series fall off from having. It almost feels like they force a second season into the writing, whereas The Killing felt totally natural from start to finish.
No one's gonna find him. No one's got to know what we did.
So if you haven't seen it, go watch The Killing. You're going to love it just straight up as a cop drama, detective, murder mystery, and all this kind of stuff. It's very, 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 very well executed. So check it out.
You have any good news for me?
No.
Swell.
So now I want to talk about the OA.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
An original Netflix series, and it's one that I feel like really fell under the radar for many people. For me personally, it didn't. I love both Zill Batman-Glitch and Britt Marling, and I originally saw Sound of My Voice, which blew me away as a movie, and the OA kind of takes elements from that movie and tried to implement it into a series, which I love. Of course, I would have preferred maybe a sequel to Sound of My Voice, but the OA really did not fall short on that beautiful air of mystery, that incredible writing, and of course, Britt Marling acting amazing as usual. So the series did unfortunately get canceled after season 2, and this is one of those really, really shitty situations where a multi-billion-dollar company like Netflix could say, hey, if your show was not in the top 20, we're not going to greenlight it for another season. it's unfortunate you lose out on the art aspect. These people are making art. They have a beautiful creative story. They have a fan base that might not be as big as some other shows, but they have a fan base that's much more loyal to the story and how they become emotionally invested into it. And I feel like the OA is a perfect example of a show that had a really impressive following, but still fell short of having the amount they needed to get greenlit for another season. And it's really, really shitty. It's a heartbreaking situation to ever see that. So I really hope that we still get a third season at some point. You never know what could happen, either through private investment or they maybe repropose an idea or a project or whatever it is. But I'd really like to see that come back at some point. Now, the reason why I recommend the OA is because I'm always hunting for shows that have this sense of mystery that still kind of make me feel a sense of awe, similar to how I felt watching amazing films as a kid or even some series as a kid. And so few of them actually get that. Even if they're really, really good, they're still kind of missing that air of mystery that really feels almost dreamlike, so realistic yet so surreal at the same time. And I feel like the OA really managed to capture that feeling, despite it being such a modern show and despite me seeing it as an adult rather than seeing it as younger. I gotta give it to them. Fantastic. The OA is so good, even though it feels incomplete when you watch it because, the story stops off wanting more or needing more. It's still so very well executed as a story. So if you get the chance, you can watch it now on Netflix. It's the OA. It's fantastic.
Blindness result of an NDE when you were a child.
Yes.
Now, if they came back, it means they went somewhere.
Well, that's it, folks. Really glad you came. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Really goes a long way for us. And be here next Sunday for our third episode, which is Top Twists and Turns. Thank you so much and have a good night.